Hello and welcome back to my channel, and thank you very much for watching. My name is Sian. Please subscribe if you'd like to see more videos. There are loads of videos on this channel. I'm sure you'll find something you like. Here I am today to talk about what I wish I'd known about pregnancy sickness. Now, pregnancy sickness affects over 80% of women who are pregnant, and only about half of those are actually sick. Here's my background. With my first child, my son, I was sick from around about 8 weeks until about 24 weeks. I lost an awful lot of weight. I was sick every single day, and I had to choose what I ate based on what would taste nice, throwing up, which is really not a good food choice decision. So for example, in the mornings I would have some strawberries and some hot chocolate. And that was purely because it wouldn't taste horrific when I threw it back up again. My work were quite good and they let me go in half days, so basically I just used to take the mornings off. I had a temp to cover me for the mornings and I used to do afternoons. That was until about 12 weeks when the sickness, kind of the actual vomiting, slowed down, but I still felt sick. I couldn't really eat during the day. I know often people find that eating little and often helps them. Eating anything didn't really help me. It didn't help at all. So I would have strawberries and hot chocolate for breakfast. I would have half a cucumber sandwich for lunch and some raisins, and then I would eat whatever dinner I could manage because cooking made me feel really physically sick. And I really didn't eat very much at all, because I couldn't bear to. I genuinely couldn't bear to. And then by the time the sickness had gone, I had heartburn, which meant I could barely get anything into my stomach. So I really didn't eat a lot. So with him, I lost 1.5 stone during pregnancy. So when I went into labour, I weighed less than I had done when I got pregnant, which is not an ideal situation. Obviously it was great for weight loss because once I'd had a baby I was wearing like size 10 clothes, which I hadn't worn for years, but it wasn't a particularly pleasant time or way of spending my pregnancy. With my daughter I was even more sick, which I hadn't thought possible. I was sick every single day, very, very violently, from around 8 weeks to around about 16 weeks. It finished a bit sooner with her. And instead of having time off work, because I didn't want to mess my work around, I had anti-sickness medication, which I took every single day, and I was still sick on it, but I didn't feel as sick, so the feeling of wanting to be sick wasn't there, but I was still sick every single day. So with my daughter I lost 1.25 stone in weight in total. So this is what I wish I'd known about pregnancy sickness. It's making me feel a bit queasy even just talking about it. I wish I'd known that it was genuinely like the most violent feeling sick I've ever had in my entire life and ever probably would have. It's a sickness that is absolutely like this, and you have to go and you have to be sick, and it gets every single bit of everything out of you, and I'm sorry if this is TMI because it's just disgusting, but everything out of your stomach, everything, and then there's nothing left and you don't feel like you ever want to eat again. I wish I'd known that lots of people go through this, and I kind of wish that support groups and things had been around when I was pregnant, because I didn't know anyone else who was going through that. I knew other pregnant people, but none of them were being as sick as me, and I just felt a bit of a failure, I guess, that my body clearly reacted to the pregnancy hormones or whatever it is so violently. What I did find reassuring though was the fact that I was being sick, because as I will link here, that I'd had 3 miscarriages before I was pregnant with my son. So the sickness was very reassuring because I knew that the baby was still there, if that makes sense. I knew that it was growing and that the hormones were still there, and that made me feel very reassured at a time when I could have been quite scared about it all. Obviously having another baby after having had such awful pregnancy sickness the first time round was a bit of a kind of tricky thing to decide whether or not to do, because I wasn't sure if I would have such awful sickness again. But I spoke to lots of people who didn't have sickness the second time round and they were absolutely fine. Obviously for me it was worse the second time round, hooray! But it also means that I just know that I will not do pregnancy again, because I am so ill when I'm pregnant that it's just not fair on me, and it's not fair on my children, because that would be 3 months or 4 months of their life when I'm being sick every single day. I've got a business to run now. It's not feasible for me to be able to do that. Obviously, if I got pregnant by accident, then I wouldn't like terminate a pregnancy. What I wish I'd known is that every single thing the doctor recommended to me to do wouldn't work for me. Eating little and often, no. Sipping water instead of kind of gulping water, no. Having ginger biscuit before you get up, getting up slowly, none of that stuff worked for me. I was going to be sick no matter what. I mean, even on the anti-sickness medication, I was still sick every single day. So clearly my body that's just how I dealt with pregnancy. Also, what I wish I'd known, because with my first pregnancy I ate so little every single day that I was so sure that I was harming my child. I was getting so skinny as the pregnancy kind of went on, and by 20 weeks I didn't have a bump at all. I didn't even have like a little lump. I was just stick thin, and I was concerned that obviously because I wasn't eating, the baby wouldn't be healthy, the baby wouldn't be getting any nutrients. I was taking folic acid, so I was obviously taking the thing that I needed to be taking. I ate a fair amount of spinach, just raw, because that's what I felt like eating. But other than that, I really didn't eat much at all. And my son was 7 pounds 10. I did have a very, very tiny bump at the end. I measured 6 weeks small at the end, but he was 7 pounds 10, perfectly healthy. So he clearly got all the nutrients that he needed just from me. He didn't necessarily need me to eat loads. He didn't need me to eat all the time. He just needed me to eat kind of the bare minimum, which is what I ate, for him to grow and to survive and all that kind of jazz. And obviously I felt guilty that I couldn't really eat, but equally I couldn't eat, so eating made me sick. So it was kind of a lose-lose situation, really. If you're suffering from pregnancy sickness, I just want to say have a big hug, because it's not a pleasant place to be. I think there are varying degrees of pregnancy sickness, and I think I was quite unlucky to have quite a severe level of pregnancy sickness, but it certainly isn't anything that I would wish on anyone. As long as you know that what you are doing is growing a baby, which is kind of an insane thing anyway, but the pregnancy sickness will also pass. Even if it's at 40 weeks, it will go when the baby arrives, and ultimately that's not that long in the grand scheme of your life. To be sick, it's pretty minging though, isn't it? But yeah, there's not a lot you can do about it. Right, I think I'm rambling a bit too much, so I'm going to stop here. If you've liked this video, give us a thumbs up. If you would like to, then please subscribe, and I will see you again soon. Alright, bye.